There's a chill in the air and fall is right around the corner. It is the perfect time to do some yard work. And today we are going to plant some things and move some things around and do what George likes to call the fall switcheroo. Tropical Storm Lee just came through this weekend and it was a near miss for us. So thankfully we just got some rain and some wind. But because of the wind, we went ahead and we tucked a lot of the plants that we had in pots here in our shed so that they wouldn't get all blown around. And one of the things that we're planting today is actually this burgundy lace Japanese maple. I had been hanging on to this for a few months, not sure where to plant it, but I did find a spot for it recently, but it means that I have to dig something else up that's in the place I want to put it. So that's what we're going to work on this morning. And here's what I'm moving. This European beech tricolor that I planted here last year, probably around this time in the fall. So about a year ago, I planted it here. I had bought this on clearance for about 20 bucks at the Home Depot, but let me zoom out and show you where it's planted and why I'm moving it. Right here, as you walk down this gravel path to my vegetable garden, is where I'm going to plant that burgundy lace Japanese maple. Currently, I have a eastern redbud on the right, and here on the left is where I had planted the tricolored beech. But this tricolored beech is currently getting morning shade but hot afternoon sun. And from everything I've read, they do prefer a bit more shade. So I think the afternoon sun is just too strong for it. So I'm going to dig up this beech, I'm going to place it in a pot and grow it in a pot for a little while. And I'm going to put this burgundy lace Japanese maple in its spot. Now this has a really beautiful burgundy color that will get more vibrant with more sun. And so I'm going to place this here, and I think because it has this beautiful arching habit, it's going to look really pretty as it grows, kind of hanging over the path. So that's the plan for this. The next thing on the list is going to be to dig up one of these large clumps of lambsare. Now this is a beautiful variety of lambsare called Helen von Steen, and it makes a wonderful ground cover. I have a group of 5 here, which I really like, the odd numbers. I think it visually looks really nice, but we need this spot right here to plant another Japanese maple. So I'm going to go ahead and dig this up, and my plan is to divide it into 3 and temporarily plant it over in my vegetable garden, in my raised beds. I did that with the Rose of Sharon that I planted out in one of my recent videos. It's like my holding spot. So I'm going to do that with that clump of lambsare until I have a better spot to put it next season. And I'm actually going to put another Japanese maple here. If you see our Japanese maple garden here, we have lots of yellows and greens, and we do have one red one there. And these colors change. They're beautiful in the spring. They have gorgeous fall color, but then in the summer, they tend to be very green and yellow. So we thought we were going to add a pop of red here, and I actually have a maple planted in the wrong spot. It's not getting enough sun that we are going to move into this spot. So let me show you what that is. So as we walk through here, we have 2 paths. We have the stone path that we created, that George finished out this season. And then we have a grassy path here. And in the back of the grassy path, I have some woodland beds lining the path on this side. So the goal is to have plantings on both sides. And as you walk down here, this area is still being worked on, and this has been kind of a temporary spot to hold over some Japanese maples that we were not sure what to do with yet. So here I have a moonrise, which is a beauty, and then I have this one that's kind of not great. This was one that wasn't rated for our zone, so it's struggled ever since. It has dieback every year, which is why it has a really wonky shape. So this one's actually going to get out of here at some point as well. And in this corner, I have a beautiful Japanese maple that doesn't look really beautiful right now because it is actually looking muddy green. And the reason that it has this green color is because it's not getting enough sun. So let me change the angle and show you something else. This Japanese maple is called Purple Ghost, and it's actually a really vibrant red. At least the spring color is really vibrant and also has really pretty fall color. But you can see that it is actually mostly green at this point. And this is what happens with these trees when they're not in the correct light conditions. If they are in too much sun, they'll start to crisp. If they're in too much shade, the coloring can get muddy. So for that reason, I think that spot in the corner of that large bed where the lambsare is coming out will be perfect for this tree. It is full afternoon sun, so this should get much prettier coloring there. I have my very helpful garden assistant helping me with some digging today. And the first thing we're doing is digging up this tricolored beech. Now, it's only been here for a year. It might have started to bite a little bit into the ground. So we're going to try to get as much of the root ball as we can and place it into a pot for now. I think it'll be easier to kind of move it around when it's in the pot so that I can sort of test some light conditions and see where it seems to be happier. It's a little crooked. Yeah, I think it's getting better now. Yep. And then we'll straighten it out as we plant it. George is just going around and loosening up the root ball and teasing out the roots and getting it ready to grow. Yeah, it has nice roots. The beech is now potted up and the burgundy lace Japanese maple is in its new home. So on to the next thing. These Lambsare, the Helen von Steen, they might not look as big as they actually are on camera, but they are a beast in a good way. I had bought 3 small containers at Home Depot last year, the beginning of last season, so 2022. I've already divided them a bunch of times. I had some over by my shed. I've given some away, and I now have 5 huge clumps just from those 3 that I started with, plus the ones that I gave away. Let me just show you how large this is. So they're definitely much bigger than the container specs had read. So this across is nearly 3 feet. See that? This is a large plant. It's 3 by 3. And it would probably continue to grow, which is why I think it does serve as a great edge of the border plant, a ground cover. So this is a really good foliage plant. If you want something that gets big, Helen von Steen Lambsare. All right, let me go ahead and dig this up. The good thing is it's not too rooted yet. Spiders like to hide in here. Look at that. Look, 1, 2.
Oh, daddy long legs.
Uh-huh. And look at this guy. Looks a little scary.
Yeah, I don't know what that one is. Yeah, but look at the texture. It's so cool.
It is. Oh, this is coming up like a dream because I just transplanted it this season. Holy, big plant.
Little shop of horrors.
Yeah. All right, there we go.
So you got 4?
I got 4, yep. I got 4 divisions. I could definitely get more because this one could get cut again and that one could get cut again. And I could technically end up with 6 more divisions off of just one. That's how prolific this plant is. It's the gift that keeps on giving. Right here in my raised bed vegetable garden is where I had that Rose of Sharon that we planted out, like last video, the video before. So I have an open spot in this area here for me to stick all 4 of these Lambsare transplants. And I'm just gonna hold them over here until next season, until I find another home in the yard for them. This is a perfect spot for you to overwinter anything that you have that you've maybe accumulated throughout the season, but you don't really have a perfect spot for it yet. The vegetable garden is kind of going into dormancy now because everything is done growing for the season. So I have this little 4x4 bed here where I've been overwintering plants. I have some boxwoods that I need to plant, some autumn joy sedum that I picked up on clearance at the end of last season, and now these Lambsares. I also have a couple of grasses here that I'm still going to find a spot in the garden for. So use your raised vegetable gardens. When they're not in use for growing vegetables, they're a perfect spot to overwinter plants. Now that these lamb's ears are tucked in, let's go ahead and get that purple ghost planted.
Pull the roots like I'm trying to. It already started to bite.
Tease
in
them
a
out.
little bit. Yeah. See?
Yeah.
Look at that root.
Wow. Keep as much of it as you can.
Yeah. We're getting more dirt though. Something like that, I actually think is okay.
Okay.
Just like that.
I'll put a little of this all around the roots, and then we'll put some of the native soil.
Some more dirt.
Okay. George is working on staking the tree. He does this thing he likes to call the teepee. It's this little configuration of 3 bamboo sticks at the bottom that kind of create like a little tripod set up for the tree, so it just gives it a little bit extra stability at the bottom. We bought this stretchy tape at Home Depot. They have it next to all of the staking materials, the tomato cages, etc. And it works really good to stake things because it's stretchy and it rips off of the roll easily.
And it's not sticky.
And it's not sticky. And the fact that it is stretchy is helpful because as the trunk or the caliper of the tree expands, it won't dig into it because it stretches as the tree grows.
See that? It's solid. So with the wind, it should definitely hold up.
We have some of these boulders and small rocks all over our property. Here in New England, it's quite common. So we're just going to place a few right behind the tree, sort of as a little bit of a retaining wall so that we can add our soil and our mulch, and when it gets watered, it won't wash away. In fact, all of the rock that we have right there behind George in that woodland bed around the trees was all from our property. We created a tree ring and edging with the rock. Look. That was a very productive morning. So tell me, do you like to do the old fall switcheroo? Comment below. Fall is the best time to transplant and plant things. The soil is still warm, so your roots have time to establish and grow before they go into dormancy for the winter. The days are still nice and cool because it is fall, which means that your plants will be less stressed if you do transplant them. And because you naturally get more moisture with rain, fall, and such in the fall, you will have to water less, and again, less stress for the plants. So let me know, are you planning on transplanting or planting anything this fall? It's a perfect time to do it, so get to it. Thank you for spending your time with me, and I'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching this video. If you liked it, please hit the thumbs up button, and please consider subscribing so you don't miss any of my future videos, and we'll see you soon.